And we did elect a party to govern for 5 years. And another party wasn't elected. So I think you have to be very careful. We joke about these things, but this is how you end up with informality. This is how you end up with a situation where people lose trust in their government and so on. Because, yes, we're laughing and saying, you steal elections and we steal your president.
Yes.
But you know, that to me is the highest element of informality, where you're saying, look here, we will ignore the social contract and we shall still find a way of running the country despite the social contract. And that's what we are seeing in all these places.
Right, and this also brings the issue of multipartism, which actually you are in the trenches fighting for, Reverend Dr. Timothy Njoya. Beaten black and blue, that we might, of course, have a country where people will have different voices and parties. Looking at what is happening with the coalitions, looking with what is happening with broad-based governments, we were talking about the BBS even before, how is it a threat to democracy? Because we're stifling the voices and the parties that, as it were, and what we really fought for with the constitutional change.
Let me give you
Section 2A.
a new vocabulary.
Yes.
In the past, we talked about post-election violence. We didn't have the word pre-election violence. Today, what we have is not post-election. It is the pre-electionalization of the state. We have pre-electionalized the government. We have co-opted the government. No, I mean the government, the executive has co-opted the parliament. So we have no state. So when you are talking about the state today, we are lying. There is no state without parliament, judiciary, and what you call it, executive.
Yes.
So now, since parliament was co-opted, and especially in the bill, you call it what? The election, the voting of the last bill, which was rejected.
Finance bill.
Finance bill. That corruption is still there. The parliament is still part and organ of pre-electionalization, of helping to win the election, the coming one. And I'm saying, because of this, two things in Kenya. I am thinking ideologically myself, because I'm a believer of values and systems, and values and principles, that this pre-election requires two functions: ethnicity, balkanization into ethnic support for the who will win elections. That is pre-electionalization. Then the other one is economic exclusion. You include some, you exclude those who don't support you. Those are the two major powerful driving principles in this pre-electionalization of Kenya. And that if you are either suffering exclusion from economy or ethnicity, isolation by ethnicity. Only two, those are the two basic values and blocks that balkanize Kenya into those areas. Whether you are included in the economy, whether you are excluded in the tribes, which we have no parties anymore. What we have is we don't have political parties. We have only kleptocrats and kleptocracies. We don't have any parties anymore. These people, they are thieves who are leading these parties. And I'm saying, what I'm saying that is that if you don't want if you are not supporting the pre-election ideology, you are nowhere in Kenya today.
But what is ideology? Are we talking about ideology?
But before I talk,
I will struggle to define what ideology is here.
But before I leave here, the ideology is a belief that something is, whether it is not, it is or it isn't. But let me tell you, what he is talking about police, I don't believe, because policemen are men and women with the families, with the lives, who go to churches, who do many other things. We have corrupt policemen as we have corrupt politicians and even corrupt clergymen. What I'm trying to say is that we have we have this kind of people everywhere, even in the media, who tell me to pay them to cover me. But the thing is this.
Are you included?
You see,
The ball is not there.
but what I'm trying to say is this. I'm a member and a founder of the Gong Peacekeeping Committee. We call it Zambia. I live in Zambia. Zambia, El Paso, Juanco, Peacekeeping Committee.
That is a street, so that they don't actually.
What I'm saying that the police.
They don't get confused that you live in Zambia. Zambia is a street along. Yes.
No, now I'm saying since I've been in a peace committee.
Yes.
I am talking to the police station at Gong almost all the time. When I hear something, if I hear a cry, I call the police. And I've never seen better cry regimen than the Gong policemen.
Mm-hmm. Better clergymen?
Clergymen are not as good as the police. There's no church in Gong which is as good as the Gong police station. You see?
Correct.
And I'm talking the truth.
Yeah.
I'm educating a boy, a street boy, garbage collector. I took him and took him to school. I don't want to mention that school. The school when he was attacked by 2 other boys. To whom do I go to sort out the problem with that school?
To the police station.
To the police. Recently, we had another problem, and I went to the police, and they sorted it out. And they do it so quickly and so well that I have come to think that the police station at Gong is as good as a church or even better. So I'm talking the truth. I'm talking the truth. Something happened to somebody in Nairobi. He was being harassed by other policemen for driving wrongly, and he had not. I called the policeman, the commander at Gong. Soon that issue was sorted by, he called other commanders. And not only that, if anything happened to you in Mombasa and you are from Gong, tell me and I'll call the police and it will be helped to sort it out.
But,
so I'm trying to say that.
No, but aren't you also inculcating the culture of corruption? Yeah? If somebody is driving on the wrong side,
it's a matter of,
as a clergy,
I'm talking
why would you call a commander or whoever?
I call them because they can conduct other police stations.
No, so that he can be bailed out, the person who has been driving on the wrong side of
No.
Yeah?
Not bailing out. Not bailing out, but...
Why were you calling him?
Because he was being asked to bribe.
Okay.
You understand? He was not being asked, he was being detained in the car to bribe. But anyway, sorry, because I don't want to be known who it is. But I'm trying to...
Okay.
Let me put it this way.
Of time.
I was just going to correct the policemen are bad.
No.
Therefore, I had to move the other way of praising them so that I counterbalance him.
No.
Now, so let me put it this way. I cannot condemn my whole flock. You know, I'm a pastor. I have to say that there are people, rotten eggs in every basket.
That is true.
You understand?
That's very true.
Yeah. So let me put
The point is really not about individuals. The bigger point I was trying to make is about systems. Once you corrupt systems, you know...
okay, I agree. The corrupted system is there, but I'm saying that even in that system...
They're good, the good people.
They are good citizens.
They're good citizens.
They are good citizens. So let me finish what I was trying to say about the pre-electionalization of the society. That everything today, even the money bags being carried and taken, is about elections, 2027 elections. So we should focus on doing that. We should, all forces in Kenya, all churches should preach against the pre-electionalization of their members, so that they can make a decision who to elect, because they are not electionalized.
But isn't the church setting up the stage for this particular? Isn't the church setting up the stage for what you're calling the pre-electionalization.
Yes,
Because now we have all the politicians waiting for
not all of them, not all of them.
so that they can actually stand and give their stump speeches.
Some have refused money. Some churches have refused to be bribed.
Few and far in between, you'll call some of these churches. They are very few and far in between. Okay. Very few churches.
Yeah, but even if it is one, it's a good example that the whole Kenya is not going to the dogs. There was a time when we were very few. Me, Muge, Gitari, and...
the fiery quartet, as they call it.
Yes, at the Bishop Kuru.
Yes.
At the end, our voice was followed by the masses. Okay? Not the mob voice, but the mob, the reasonable few. And I think that there is, just as I was saying, there are reasonable few policemen. I think there are reasonable few journalists.
Right, but maybe I should, before I come to Dr. Fred Ogola, do you think we, even as